Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the 1/100 scale Gundam Gusion. That's right, so in the last review you guys saw me take a look at the Gusion Rebake. This is the other kit that you can make, or the other kit that you can make, the other Gundam you can make from the same kit, I guess is what I want to say. If you guys remember from the unboxing, and if you're familiar with the kit, you know that in the box you get all of the parts to make either the Gundam Gusion or the Gundam Gusion Rebake. The manual has you make the Gusion Rebake first, so I reviewed that one first. And then the manual shows you how to transform that, just swapping all the parts and just basically using some of the inner frame of the Gundam Gusion Rebake to change it, sort of revert it back to the Gusion, as the Gusion was how the Gundam appeared in the anime originally, before it was reformed into the Rebake. So anyway, if you got through that little bit of confusing mess, you'll know that basically we just got a really huge, big, fat green Gundam here, and it's gonna have a lot of bulk to this. This was probably one of the bulkiest kits that I've ever built. The only other one that really comes to mind is the Master Grade O, which is quite large, right? Master Grade the O, I should say. If you did want to see about the transformation, just swapping the parts from the Gusion Rebake to the Gusion, I did that on a live stream. So if you want to go back and check out the live stream I did not too long ago, I showed about that. But really, it's not all that interesting, really. I mean, if you really want to see about that, you can also check out just the scans of the manual on dalong.net. Not really very interesting, you know, it's just swapping the parts. So that's it. If you are wondering what you're going to have left over, you're going to have a lot of stuff left over here from this kit. So here we are. The cool thing about this, I mean, you have a lot of this stuff left over that you have no use for. The backpack you could repurpose, because I believe those holes would probably work for some of the things on the Greys. I mean, you could stick this backpack onto a Gundam Barbatos, and it has like the extra arms on there, so that would be really cool. The legs, so we have the whole lower half of the leg here. Again, you could swap that out for the Barbatos or something. I would have to check. I don't remember offhand. Again, I know some of the parts of the frame are not compatible, so I don't remember offhand if that part is. I believe that part would not be compatible. You'd have to do a little bit of modification, but that would not be very difficult to modify. Other cool thing is, I mean, we just have all these other armor parts that you can use for pretty much whatever else you want to put them towards. So I think on the negative side, this is a lot of waste, right? So it's a lot of stuff. You paid a good amount of money for this kit. You're going to have a lot of stuff that you're not going to have any use for. So that's the bad side. On the good side, if you look at it optimistically, you have a lot of stuff here for doing some customs and kit bashes and things like that. So that is good. Most notably here, the halberd, which would be really cool with a Gundam Barbatos if you have that. And the long rifle, which would be cool with a Gray's kit. If you do have a Gray's kit, you could give it the long rifle instead of the normal one, and just for a little bit of a different customized look. So pros and cons, I think between the two, between having the Gusion Rebake built and then having all these Gusion parts just left over, I think that would probably be more of a waste, because a lot of these parts are going to be not as compatible with other things. For the weapons, I mean, we have the rifle and the hammer, and those things can be maybe used with something else. But I think building the Gusion and then having all the Gusion Rebake parts as extra stuff would probably be the better way to go, because I think those parts are going to be more versatile in like what you can really do with them, I think, without, you know, totally really chopping this up. I mean, you can get creative and do lots of things, but anyway, let's talk about the accessories now, since I did just show those to you very quickly. We are going to have the rifle, sort of SMG, I think, kind of, and on the handle it does have a peg on both sides, so you can hold this on the left or the right hand side. Different from the HG, this one has an extending stock there in the back, so that just pulls out. It's kind of cool. It's a nice, interesting little feature. So I gotta imagine that once you have paint on there, you're gonna have to be very careful, because you're gonna be scratching the paint every time you pull that in and out. You have to kind of decide whether you want it in or out and stick with it. And then of course we have the huge giant hammer. Now just out of the box, you are going to definitely have some nub marks on here, here, and here. Unfortunately, they couldn't find a different place to put those nub marks that would have made them easier. But, you know, sanding and painting, all of that will be fine. But if you're not planning on painting, you will have those, and they are looking pretty, not very good. And then here, again, we just have one peg here in the hand. So if you want to hold this in this hand, if you want to hold in the other hand, all you have to do is just turn it around the other side. So it really doesn't matter about that. The hammer itself is symmetrical, the front and the back. There's nothing different. So you can hold it either the left or the right side. Turning it around is not going to make any difference. So compared to the size of the Gundam, you can see it's going to come up just about to the chest there. So pretty big, very, very just large, huge. It's not very long, but it's definitely very big. And then the last thing we've got is our two open hands here. Again, boring open hands, not very expressive at all. They're just kind of there. But we do have them. Again, we only have one set of the armor parts for the back of the hands. So if you want to use these, you'll have to switch that armor part on the back. It's kind of unfortunate that Bandai seems to be doing that now. And it's just unfortunate because, you know, switching the parts a lot is going to make the connection point more loose. So if you do want to do that, you know, you do it a couple times and that's going to be loose and it's not going to be staying on there very well. It's kind of unfortunate. Here inside the hand we have a small little thing there, and that is for holding the grenades, which are up underneath the side skirt here. Let's just hold this up. You can see underneath the side skirt we have two grenades in there. One of them is fixed. This one is just fixed, molded in there. This one is you're able to take out, and it's the same for the other side. So you're able to take out one grenade on each side, and then you can plug this into the hand like so that it looks like it's holding the grenade in its hand. I mean, with that pose, that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, you could have it like sort of a in-action pose of it throwing the grenade. It kind of looks like that, or just like holding the grenade out like this, like, here you go, here's a present for you, like that. Not very expressive, not very interesting, but it is a kind of interesting gimmick that you can do, I guess. So let me bring up the Gundam here once again, and we'll take a closer look and point out some of the stickers. There are very few, especially compared to the Gusion Remake, and just some of the details. Really excellent details all around in this kit. I felt the HG actually really had loads of really nice details as well. This one does step it up a little bit without going overboard, I think, which is good. So here in the head we've just got stickers there. The eyes are molded in yellow, but we do have like a dark gray sticker that goes around the eyes. Otherwise this is all just going to be purple inside there. Little bits of purple poking out there on the top of the head as well. For the Vulcans, the head is looking very much like a turtleneck inside there, like a turtle head, and the neck much more than the HG, because the HG was just a simple polycap in there. So that is going to move. It does have some range of movement, and then side to side, of course, like that. So I think it moves pretty well for being just this kind of very odd head, a very odd connection just stuck inside this thing here. In terms of the waist articulation, yeah, not really going to be too much going on there. You are able to rotate it side to side just a little bit, like barely anything. So not really going to be too much articulation there in the waist. In the shoulders, the shoulder armor, here has another white sticker there. On the HG, this was a longer one that included like a black part coming here onto the front as well. On the 100, it's just the white triangle there. That is going to rotate up. This feels much more secure than the HG. On the HG, you know, this part was kind of loose and kind of had a tendency to come apart. I don't feel like that's going to happen with this one. You can bring that up to there, so you can bring the arm up to there, and that's pretty much it. So it's going to be just at a 90-degree angle. The arm is just going to work very normally. Rotation there at the top, and then bend here at the elbow is going to give you just about 90 degrees, not that much. And then the ball joint wrist is going to move around like that. I felt like the HG2 as well, the ball joint was set into the hand a little bit more. This one does look a little bit awkward as it's not set into the arm as much, so it's like that. The hands look a little bit large on this. I think it might be kind of cool to put some 1/144 scale hands on this. I know that'd be super small, but I don't know. I'd have to test it around. Maybe just like the HG Builders 1/100 scale hands would look better. Maybe they're a little bit less bulky than these hands. Just these hands just look a little bit too big for me personally. I liked the look of the HG hands, that they looked kind of small on the Gundam. Just here on the chest, just cool to point out, these parts here on the top are molded detail there, where on the HG those were stickers, so that's some purple poking through there, and underneath as well. And then this part here in the chest, this like kind of cockpit piece, two different colored parts there. It's pretty cool. Here on the front skirt we have that fork sticker again. barely fits into that space though. It's kind of odd, it's kind of out of place, but it looks alright though. I would maybe recommend, if you wanted to actually paint that on the kit, take your sticker sheet and take off this sticker and then use like the negative space, so then like cut out around that and then use that as like your mask, your template. So if you get what I mean, using the sticker sheet to make a mask to spray paint that onto your kit would work really well. The front skirts do move up and down here. And here you can see inside there's some of that gold sticker on the frame there. And the side skirts, as you saw, move up and down here. So this is going to give you a pretty good range of movement here in the legs. You can get the leg all the way out and all the way nice and forward. And then a bend here in the knee. This like bulbous lower leg is going to have these 1, 2, 3 thrusters there. And the feet, just these small little guys in there that do tend to come off when you move them, so just be careful with that. It's not the first time that's happened to me. But those feet are going to move forward and back and then rotate a little bit side to side. But again, when you rotate them, like I said, they just come out. So just be careful of that. They do rotate, but they tend to come out when you do that. The back skirt is fixed, but we do have this small little latch here. It will just drop down. It is closed, drops down like so, and you can plug on the SMG here. Just plugs into there like that. Very simple. And then here on the back, we have the thrusters here. And these are going to be able to move as well. Just a little bit down like that. It's kind of tight. And then up a little bit. These do move, but not really all that much. Some purple poking out here as well. And then this part here, actually kind of cool mechanism. It just slides out like that. So you pull out this armor piece and that slides out. And that is where we can hold the hammer on here as well. So that can just plug onto there like that, and then it's holding the hammer on its back. So that is pretty much it. Yeah, not really a whole lot of stickers. All those sticker apps are going to be pretty easy to just mask and paint, I think, so don't really need to worry too much about that. This seems like it's not going back in there quite correctly, but I guess that's right. We do have the action-based connector, which was the same with the Gusion rebake, but it's actually, we need to like build the action-based connector into the kit. So it's actually set up inside of there, so it's going to be very secure. Then we actually just plug in the action base up into the kit, just straight into there. So let's test it and see how well it's going to work. Alright, so up on an action base, I gotta say the connection point there up underneath the crotch of the Gundam actually seems very secure, which is good. So it does seem like they've done a really good job designing that connection, like building the action base connector up into the actual like kind of frame of the Gundam, so that you're plugging the action base just straight up into the Gundam itself. I think that has worked out really well, and it does seem very secure. The problem now lies with just the action base itself. My action base seems to be feeling the weight of the Gundam there. Like it seems like it wants to like rock off to one side. I have it on like the lowest setting right now, but yeah, definitely you're gonna want to keep it at the lowest setting possible. Raising this up anymore and you're really gonna be in danger of this kind of swaying and swinging, and I don't know what exactly would happen, but something's gonna fall. The SMG, I have the stock extended back, and as you can see, I have to tuck it up underneath the shoulder armor because it's going to be running into that if you want to have it fully extended back. So just something to keep in mind. Also, just want to say a big thank you to MindFenix Hobby Store again for sending me this kit to share with you guys. As you guys know, this is a one kit that I've definitely been very much looking forward to. Well, you may or may not know that, but it definitely is a kit that I've been looking forward to, so I'm very happy to have it and review it for you guys here. And just for comparison here it is compared with the HG. I remember thinking that the HG was really cool just because like building the HG and just posing that up. I thought it's really cool just how big and bulky it is. It just has an HG kit, but like now, after building the 1/100 scale, the 1/100 scale just absolutely dwarfs the HG kit. For how big and bulky I felt the HG felt, now it just feels like nothing like with the 1/100 scale. The 1/100 scale is absolutely massive compared to this. And one more comparison here we can make too, since I mentioned it, the Master Grade, the O, is going to be even much larger than the 1/100 scale Gusion. So this is still that same kit that I just compared to the HG and said it's so huge. Now look at it compared to the O, and it's even dwarfed by just the size of the O, which is just absolutely massive. But that's in like a whole other thing on its own. So yeah, there's just a couple of comparisons to kind of help put this into scale, I guess. Alright, now here is when I've got to the point where I'm starting to notice some of the major flaws of this kit, or just some of the major things, kind of concerns or disappointments, things that I am not happy about with this kit. And number one, it definitely cannot, in no way, hold the hammer up with one hand. So if you're planning on holding the hammer with one hand, you're gonna have to hold it down, and that is your only option. So otherwise, you can hold it with two hands, as I will demonstrate in the next pose. Just barely. I think the handle is just barely long enough that you can reach it with both hands. So I'll show you that next. But holding it with one hand, not gonna happen. Holding the grenades, cool gimmick that they decided to do that, but again, just because of the shape of the hands and the very limited reach of the arms, it's going to be hard to get any sort of good like throwing pose with that grenades. This is like the best I can get. I didn't notice before, and this is just as we were going through the articulation, and just something I just didn't really think about until now, until I needed to, but this whole arm section here, the top part, isn't going to rotate back and forth at all, so that shoulder armor is stuck there right in the way. So if you wanted to put the arm like forward and back, it's definitely going to be limited by the ability to move that whole shoulder part at all. So after trying as best I could and just barely getting in there, I was trying to get this to hold the hammer with two hands on the handle. It just really isn't going to happen. Maybe there's something that I'm missing, but I'm looking at this image here in the manual. You see there, it's doing it like that. Tried my best to recreate that. I have a feeling that this is modified. I think there's no way that that's going to be able to do that. From what I've been trying to do, there's just no way. It's just not quite long enough. It needs just a few millimeters more length in the handle, and you would be able to do that no problem. But as it is now, I just can't get it to hold with both hands on there. You have to put the top hand up on this part here, which is like not really supposed to be a gripping area because it's like larger. So what you have to do is like cut out some space in the hand, or cut away some of that part in order to grip that area. Otherwise it's just not quite. I could get it to grip on there like just barely, but the hand was like not actually together. The finger parts and the hand was like just barely held together there. So what I've done here is just for the meantime just use the open hand there for that, because it's just really unfortunate that the arms are going to be so limited by that. Despite that, that really doesn't take away too much from the kit for me, just because I didn't ever want this kit for its articulation. As I've mentioned before, this is a kit that I'm planning on working on for GBWC this year, and the articulation is not really something that's going to be a concern for me, as the pose that I'm planning on using it in is going to be very just more sort of mellow. So anyway, that is another story for a different time. As for the kit, yeah, so that doesn't really take too much away from it for me. I would recommend this kit if you're planning on just kind of having it just standing there and looking very dramatic and huge and bulky and giant. It's going to look great on your shelf doing that. If you're planning on trying to do anything too dynamic with it, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. The rifle, I mean the SMG does work pretty well. The hammer looks cool, but yeah, just your only real option for posing it is really just going to be down, and that's about it. So really going to do it pretty much for my review of this kit and of the Gusion rebake. All of that is a lot of stuff in the box there. Do I think it's worth the price? I'd say if you really want to have the 1/100 scale Gusion or Gusion rebake, then yeah, go for it, because I doubt that there's ever going to be master grades of these kits. That being said, if you're not that into the design, I would maybe recommend skipping this one, just because you're going to be paying a high price and having a lot of stuff left over for a kit that, although the kit is nice, you're going to have trouble holding the weapons, and you're just going to have a very heavy kit. Both of this kit, even the Gusion rebake, was a pretty heavy kit as well, just because of its backpack and the stuff and all of that. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you do have any other questions or comments, as always, leave those down below, and let me know if there's something I forgot to point out. Let me know down there in the comments. So thank you guys for watching again, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.